Right now, a fallen World War II hero is returning home decades after being killed in action overseas. Plus, an apparent random sexual assault on a Dane County trail. What police are saying about the case. That's all coming up right now at 10. Well, good evening and thanks for staying up late with us tonight. We're keeping an eye on the weather overnight as a winter storm system moves in, and it could mean accumulating snowfall for some of us. Let's go right outside to Julian Seawright with our first WARN forecast. Julian?
That's right, Brady. We are looking for accumulating snow for our late March weather as we're bringing in more snow for us as winter just doesn't seem to be done, even though we are into our first true week of spring. So let's get into it. Alert day is in the forecast, mainly for the overnight into our Saturday morning. We're looking for snowfall from 1 to 6 inches through much of southern Wisconsin, but the heaviest snowfall amounts are mainly going to be southeast of Dane County. And those are going to be the areas that are into that 6+ range that could potentially see around 6 or exceed that amount of inches of snowfall from this system coming in from the overnights into our early Saturday morning. Around Dane County, we're still holding on to around 3 to 6 inches. Some areas could be isolated and pushed near that mark, but there's a sharp cutoff to our friends to the west that could see just about maybe an inch, maybe even less, or some could see a couple inches more. Overall, here's a look at our winter weather bulletins. We have a winter weather advisory for Dane County, Lafayette, and Fort Greene County. But to the northeast, still into that winter weather advisory from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m., but we had an upgrade for Rock and for Jefferson County to a winter storm warning that will start at the same time and end in the same time as well. We're going to talk and walk through all you need to know in terms of when the heaviest snow and when it's going to be ending coming up in a few moments. Until then, back to you, Brady.
Thanks, Julian. In preparation for the storm, a couple of local communities have already declared snow emergencies. That includes the city of Evansville and the village of Marshall. We have an updated list on channel3000.com. The Madison Streets Division is also warning of slushy and slippery roads overnight and into tomorrow morning. Plows will be out salting and sanding as soon as the snow begins sticking to the ground. Officials say a citywide plowing will likely not be necessary, though, but that'll be determined later. And as always, to stay up to date on all things weather, check out our free First Warn Weather app. That's available now in your app store. Next tonight at 10, a Wisconsin soldier who was killed during World War II is finally back home tonight. It comes more than 4 months after his remains were finally accounted for. Army Private First Class William Simon was born and raised in Middleton. He went on to serve in the U.S. Army during the height of World War II and was reported killed in action in November of 1944. When he was just 20 years old. Simon's remains were finally identified last November, and tonight his remains were returned home with a hero's welcome. And at this homecoming, McKenna Alexander explains it's bringing closure to his loved ones near and far.
William Sonny Simon spent the majority of his years in this house behind me, and now, after 80 years, he's finally coming home.
His siblings wanted his convoy, the hearse and family members being escorted by the police back here to Middleton to drive by his childhood home.
The remains of Sonny Simon receiving the warmest of welcomes on Friday night, as this short drive through a Middleton neighborhood brought something that's long overdue.
Closure. After the battle, remains of hundreds of American servicemen were actually collected from Battle of Hurricane Forest and were put in a tomb in Belgium, an American cemetery tomb there. And that's where he's been.
After decades without Sonny's remains, his community of family, veterans, and strangers can now continue honoring his legacy with the gift of peace.
It really felt like a long-lost brother was coming home. We've never met him yet. I think Sonny represents really the best of what it is to be a young American, enlisted 19 years old. He had a duty to country, and he took that on and ended up paying the ultimate sacrifice. I think we want Sonny to know that it was worth it, and that we didn't forget him.
For News 3 Now, this is McKenna Alexander.
Next at 10, the Dane County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help finding a man accused of sexually assaulting a woman while she was on a walk. The attack happened yesterday just after 5 p.m. in the town of Oregon on the Oregon Rotary Bike Trail. The woman said she was walking when a man ran at her, tackled her to the ground, and sexually assaulted her. The woman said she was able to escape and was taken to a local hospital. The suspect is described as a white man, about 5'10", with a slender build. He has short dark hair and a short, scruffy beard. At the time, he was wearing a neon yellow hoodie. The victim told police she was able to escape and then she ran to a nearby home for help. Today, we spoke with the people living in that house who say they're feeling on edge, knowing something like this happened so close by.
I see this woman I hadn't seen before, and she's crying, and she says, like, he attacked me, and then it kind of clicked for me.
Nobody should have to have somebody walking with them or whatever. They should be able to walk alone, run alone, or do what they want to do.
Police say they have been able to recover some evidence from the scene, and it's still being processed. Overseas, a series of attacks on American forces in Syria is ratcheting up tension in the region. The Pentagon says the president ordered 2 F-15 airstrikes on terrorist groups in Syria. Video shows the aftermath of the attack, which hit 2 different facilities. The move was in retaliation for a drone strike yesterday that killed a U.S. contractor and wounded 5 American service members. A second attack today involved lots of rockets, but no American casualties. And new tonight, North Korea says it's tested a nuclear-capable underwater drone. Images show a smiling Kim Jong-un overseeing the drills. State-owned media says the tests were in response to joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises. They claim the underwater drone is capable of carrying out a stealth attack that would create a, quote, radioactive tsunami. And in Ukraine today, the Ukrainian military says it's eyeing a potential counteroffensive as the Russian momentum stalls around the city of Bakhmut. The commander of Ukraine's land forces says Russians are losing significant forces in the area and are running out of energy. Today, President Biden made his first trip to Canada since entering office. He and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced a new agreement aimed at addressing a surge of migrants crossing the shared border. The deal would close a loophole in a 2002 accord that allowed thousands of migrants to enter Canada each year and remain while seeking asylum. In Ottawa, the president also addressed Canada's parliament, celebrating the close relationship.
Americans and Canadians are 2 people, 2 countries, in my view, sharing one heart. It's a personal connection. No 2 nations on earth are bound by such close ties, friendship, family, commerce, and culture.
President Biden also blasted Russian President Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine, accusing the Kremlin of committing crimes against humanity, and said the U.S. and Canada stand with their NATO allies. In D.C. today, the House voted to pass a GOP education bill that aims to increase parental rights in the classroom. The Parents' Bill of Rights Act would require schools to provide parents with a list of books and reading materials available in the school library and, among other things, for elementary and middle schools that receive federal funding to get permission from parents before changing a minor child's gender markers, pronouns, or preferred name on any school form. And a reminder for Monday, News 3 Now will be hosting a mayoral debate between Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and challenger Gloria Reyes. We will live stream it at 7 p.m. on our website and social media pages, and then it will re-air the following day at 4 on News 3 Now. Developing tonight in Minnesota, a nuclear power plant shut down today in order to repair a leak containing a radioactive compound. Xcel Energy says the leak is confined to the facility in Monticello, but groundwater is still being monitored because of its proximity to the Mississippi. 4 months ago, about 400,000 gallons of water were released in a similar leak. This comes on the anniversary of the nation's largest tanker oil spill on March 24th, 1989. And the Exxon Valdez was carrying more than 1 million barrels of crude oil when it ran aground on a reef in the Gulf of Alaska. The Exxon Shipping Company, which owned the tanker, waited 2 to 3 days after the crash before taking action to contain the spill, which covered 40 miles. And more local news, a Reedsburg man is $1.5 million richer after claiming a megabucks jackpot this week. Paul Kennedy picked the winning numbers for the March 18th lottery. He bought his ticket at Prairie Cenex in Prairie du Sac. Lottery officials said Kennedy is the second jackpot winner this year. And still to come tonight, we'll check out some of your photos showing off last night's Northern Lights. They're pretty spectacular. Plus, we'll check back in with Julian Seawright, and we will have the latest on the forecast after this.
Since group buses started in the 80s, we've been cheering on the true champions of Milwaukee, you and yours. We've been on this path together for 35 plus years. We've had your back from the jump. Let's keep rising together. One call, that's all.
Oh, the weather. What's the chance of rain tomorrow?
Ooh, 80%. I make it rain. I make it rain.
Speaking of making it rain, at Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, we have an average 95% payout, which leads you to more chances of playing longer and more chances to win big. Play longer, win more, chances are you're gonna like it.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Good news! This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Now get a 2022 Explorer with 0% APR financing for 36 months, only at your Wisconsin and UP Ford dealers.
There are so many things we take for granted, and along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for granted too. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living, and through no fault of their own, they're being left behind? If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy and water providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
You already know Dan Kelly worked for a radical anti-abortion group, and on the court could uphold Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban with no exceptions for rape or incest. Here's what you didn't know. Kelly opposed background checks on all gun sales and even wrote the court decision making it easier for dangerous people to carry guns in public, banning abortion, putting our communities at risk. Dan Kelly is too extreme for our Supreme Court.
News 3 Now, first warn weather. When you're planning your day, accuracy matters. Trust Madison certified most accurate team, so you'll know what to expect when you head out the door. First warn weather, keeping you ahead of the storms.
Insurance. It isn't the most exciting thing to talk about, but it is incredibly important. Not having enough insurance could prevent you from getting what you deserve after an accident. Call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
The candidates for Madison mayor face off. News 3 Now, channel3000.com, and the Cap Times present a debate between Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway and challenger Gloria Reyes.
Watch live streaming Monday at 7 p.m. Replayed Tuesday at 4 on News 3 Now.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Hey, welcome back. Ford Motor Company says it'll lose $3 billion in sales of its electric vehicles to consumers this year. But Ford still expects to hit the profit targets it set for this year. And Ford says it expects electric vehicles to start making money soon, going from a 40% operating loss margin last year to about an 8% profit margin by the end of 2026. More Americans are squeezing into smaller spaces. A new survey from Rent Cafe finds the average size of an apartment is down more than 50 square feet compared to a decade ago. But new robotic furniture technology is already helping some people use every square inch. Bradley Blackburn explains.
Like so many, architect Eric Biber now works from home, but his home works for him in a remarkable way. With the push of a button, his office becomes a bedroom.
You wake up, you bring the bed up, you get to work?
Pretty much, yeah. It's pretty simple like that.
Biber and his wife Salome were invited to test a cloud bed from Brooklyn-based startup Ori.
The back of the couch becomes the headboard.
CEO Asier Larea started the company more than a decade ago when he was at MIT.
We like to think about the concept of transforming a space.
Their expandable apartments are powered by robotic furniture that can unfold into a walk-in closet or slide to unveil a home office.
The robotics also have built-in safety features. Just 20 pounds of pressure, say from 2 or 3 fingers, are enough to pause it and then send it moving back up.
More companies are building shape-shifting furniture as apartment sizes shrink. New apartments average just 887 square feet, according to a Rent Cafe survey.
Definitely feels like we're living in the future.
Ori sells directly to the developers of more than 50 apartment buildings around the country. Larea says units can be just 350 square feet, so tenants pay lower rents without losing function.
We are in more than 1,000 apartments across the country, from New York to San Francisco, but also from Fort Worth to Boise.
Making more from less with some high-tech help. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
It's like the Jetsons. Ori doesn't sell its robotic furniture direct to consumers yet, but it expects to do so in the future. One investor is the company IKEA, and it's also announced a partnership with Marriott Hotels. Well, next tonight, as many of you saw, the Northern Lights were putting on quite a display yesterday. We received dozens of photos from our viewers. Thank you, by the way. The beautiful light show could be seen from Minnesota all the way to Michigan. Officials say it's quite unusual to be able to see the Northern Lights as far south as Madison. Did you get to see them, Julian?
Only a few photos. I was so upset that I missed it last night because that's always been a bucket list dream for me as a kid, is to be able to see Northern Lights.
McKenna said that she got to
she
see
just
them.
hollered that she was able to see them. She even cried because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
A missed opportunity. But
the weather, however, not quite as beautiful.
No, unless you still like snow, which you would think at this point we're kind of sick of it. So we have accumulating snow, which is prompting an alert day here at the First Warn Weather Team. So here's the details of what we're looking at. From late tonight to Saturday morning, we're going to be expecting some accumulating snowfall of 1 to 6 inches throughout much of southern Wisconsin. Now, areas to the southeast are mainly going to be areas that are watching for the higher snowfall amounts, but overall, we're still looking for our Saturday morning to be disruptive throughout much of southern Wisconsin. So let's go ahead and break everything down for us, starting with our radar. Currently, this is what we're seeing. Not a lot of it is hitting the ground, just starting to make its way into Madison. But if you are seeing from Monroe to Janesville and areas just to the east, starting to pick up a bit of some light snow as that system that we've been tracking is continuing to move its way into the upper Midwest. We're looking for over the next couple of hours for that snowfall to be a bit more widespread and to actually start to make some more accumulation for some areas as we get into the later parts of the overnight hours into our Saturday morning. Here's a breakdown of what we need to know, though. For areas north and west of US 151, it's going to be mainly some light snow or flurries, not looking for a whole lot of accumulation outside of like grassy areas, and the roads themselves will mainly be wet. But once we get into our afternoon, we are going to see much improvement on the roadways for areas to the west. However, for the south and east, it's a little bit of a different story. We're anticipating the heaviest snowfall amounts to be from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. And with this heavy wet snow, we could see some possible tree power line damage, slushy roads, and on top of it, brief periods of snow-covered roads, especially for areas into the southeast. Otherwise, wet roads will be expected throughout Saturday morning, snow-covered for some areas, but improvements will come once we get into our Saturday afternoon, but still expected to be a bit more on the wetter side. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to see over the next couple of hours. The snow is going to continue to expand throughout southern Wisconsin. As we get into around the 4 o'clock hour, we're seeing it much more spread, and especially towards the Dells. And then once we get around 7 o'clock, a bit more heavier band of snow is going to start to really spread itself from Dane County and areas to the east. However, you can see over towards the west, mainly still just some lighter snowfall. It's the tail end of this system. And once we get into around the lunchtime hour, noon, the snow in itself is almost going to split Dane County in half and continue to push itself more towards the east. This is where Watertown, Juneau, Waukesha, and Milwaukee, a little bit more of a concern of where that snow is as of right now until it completely exits once we get into the rest of our afternoon. Around 3 o'clock, we're looking for temperatures to warm up, especially around Dane County and areas to the west, 40s, upper 30s, and sunshine. So much of the snow that's fallen is mainly going to melt once we get into the rest of our Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Here's a quick look once again of how much snow we're expecting. Around 3 to 6 inches for Dane County. Areas to the southeast, 6, potentially could even see more. Are 3 things we'll need to know. We are looking at that snow to continue to develop as we get closer to the midnight hour. Going to be more widespread after midnight. 1 to 6 inches is what we expect. And on top of it, we are looking for drier conditions and 40s over the next couple of days on our 10-day forecast. We are seeing warmer temperatures heading into Friday as a potential, and on top of it, maybe even more active weather heading into next week, which could bring us some thunderstorm possibilities.
Bucks are back on the road, and they make their presence known pretty early in Utah. We have highlights coming up next in sports.
3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
It would appear that the butler did it. But this isn't a whodunit film. It's a Nissan sales event ad.
Get a low $359 per month lease on Rogue.
Catch these offers while you can.
After I was robbed and my girlfriend was beat up, Janet Prolisay was the prosecutor that went after those criminals. Those fools were on a violent crime spree. Janet prosecuted them case after case and brought those criminals to justice. I saw her work up close. She's compassionate, she's fair, and she believes in public safety. On the Supreme Court, I know she'll fight for you because she fought for me. Janet cares about us.
You and running have been together for a while now. Fact is, so has Morgan's Good Form Running. We're here to help runners achieve their goals and push their limits in every sport or adventure they pursue. That kind of performance demands real innovations in technology, shape, and fit.
And we're experts in all of it, so no matter why you run, your best race starts here.
Morgan's Good Form Running, Hilldale.
I lost these. When you need a light, under pressure, it's gotta be Superior.
Chicago, celebrating 25 years of Broadway Razzle Dazzle. Paint the town again with Chicago the Musical.
At Overture, March 21st through 26th. Tickets at overture.org.
There are so many things we take for granted. So many things. And along with them, sometimes we take the people who depend on them for their survival for granted too. The elderly, disabled, the veterans, people on limited and fixed incomes, or folks that lost jobs in sectors hardest hit during the pandemic. How can they survive with record increases in their basic cost of living? Some people just can't come back. And through no fault of their own, they're being left behind, struggling to keep their heat, water, and power on. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our heat, water, and power providers are working together to keep you safely in your home. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Save big money and get 11% off all Shaw flooring from Menards. Get the floor of your dreams with our huge selection of Shaw flooring. Shaw Floors offers soft and luxurious carpet, durable laminate flooring that will stand up to life's everyday demands, and waterproof vinyl plank that offers the look of real wood and stone without the worry. Right now, this Citadel vinyl plank flooring is just $199 per square foot after 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It would appear that the butler did it. But this isn't a whodunit film. It's a Nissan sales event ad.
Get 0% financing for 36 months on select models.
Catch these offers while you can.
Badger men's basketball is hitting their stride at the perfect time. They've got 3 straight wins heading into their NIT semifinal matchup with North Texas. Now, the last time this team won 3 consecutive, that was back in December when they were riding a 6-game win streak. So why is everything clicking now? Well, the team says it's all about playing freely and not having any pressure on themselves. They just get to go out there and hoop.
It's just a whole different environment. I feel like you go into postseason, you're not promised another game, so it's kind of all out there. There's nothing really to lose, so you go out there, kind of play freely, knowing if you mess up is really not the end of the world. So we're going out there just kind of having fun.
We just go out there and compete, and we don't want it to be our last time on the court with each other, so we fight the whole 40 minutes to be able to make sure we win.
Badgers meet the Mean Green Tuesday night at 6. The winner of that matchup will face either Utah Valley or UAB for the NIT title. Iowa women's basketball taking the court tonight for the Sweet 16, and that's where we find former Monona Grove standout McKenna Warnock. Warnock getting after it early, dials up from deep for the lead. Second quarter, check out this go-ahead bucket that she has. She finishes with 12 points and 4 rebounds. The Hawkeyes are moving on to the Elite 8. Bucks begin their 4-game road trip tonight in Salt Lake City. And Grayson Allen just goes off. He scores the Bucks' first 11 points, finishes the quarter with 14, and goes 4 for 4 from deep. And that start just really sets the tone for this first half. And really the game, Giannis with the alley, Brook Lopez with the oop. The Bucks rout the Jazz 144-116. With less than a week till opening day, clubs are starting to get their rosters sorted out. Today, the Brewers informed Keston Hiura as well as Tyler Naquin they would not make the team. Hiura was drafted by Milwaukee in 2017. He made his major league debut in 2019. Last season, he hit .226 with 14 homers and 32 RBI. Wisconsin softball opening Big Ten play this weekend in East Lansing. Doubleheader off the bat. Game 1, the Spartans score first, then it's Skylar Serdashny's game. In the 3rd inning, she successfully steals home to tie this game up. Then in the 5th, she crushes a 2-run homer to give the Badgers the lead. UW wins the first game 5-3. They drop the second one. The series finale is set for Sunday at noon. Wisconsin Pro Day brought up a lot of emotions as well as a lot of lessons. For John Torchio, one of the biggest takeaways since leaving UW's program is how well prepared he is for this next step of his football career. And that's because of Jim Leonard. In the 6 seasons Leonard led the defense, UW ranked top 15 5 times. 14 of his players went on to get drafted. That includes 2 Super Bowl champs and 1 Defensive Player of the Year. So needless to say, Torchio is grateful for Leonard's elite level of coaching.
Funny, Ryan Nelson, who was a GA or quality guy for us, I was talking about just some scheme. He's like, you don't realize like how advanced you guys are because of Coach Leonard. And I just assumed like it was easy. I was like, oh, Coach Leonard's such a good coach. Like this is easy. But he's like, no, like most people don't understand defense like that. So that's definitely a positive. And I'm excited to get in front of teams and get on the whiteboard because I think my skills and knowledge of a playbook like that will go a long way for me.
And checking in with former Badger Joe Pavelski. He came in clutch last night for the Stars, scoring on a 3rd period power play to give Dallas the lead over Pittsburgh. That marks Pavelski's 21st goal of the season. Dallas went on to win 3-2. We'll be right back.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point. And you'll be back to your old self again. Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
I had a lot of bad days with gout, but that one took the wedding cake. Even with medicine, my uric acid was still too high to stop painful gout buildup. Then a gout specialist told me about Cristexa.
Cristexa is a prescription medicine for adults with gout whose symptoms are not controlled by other gout medicines.
I learned Cristexa quickly starts working to break down gout buildup.
Cristexa is an infused medicine. Serious life-threatening allergic reactions can occur while taking Cristexa. Tell your doctor right away if you have symptoms such as shortness of breath, trouble breathing, dizziness, itching, or swelling of the throat or tongue. Cristexa is not recommended if you have high levels of uric acid without a history of gout. Do not take Cristexa if you have a rare disorder called G6PD deficiency or favism. Before receiving Cristexa, tell your doctor if you have a history of heart problems and all the medicines you take. Cristexa may cause gout flare-ups, allergic reactions, nausea, bruising, sore throat, constipation, chest pain, and vomiting.
I received Cristexa for about 6 months. Now I'm in control, not gout.
Find a doctor who specializes in gout at goutdocnow.com.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
On abortion rights, do you want extremist Dan Kelly holding the gavel? Kelly wants abortion banned even in cases of rape, incest, and the health of the mother. He'll uphold the 1849 criminal abortion law that allows doctors and nurses to be jailed for performing abortions. And he'll strip women of their freedom to make their own decision on abortion. So don't give Dan Kelly a gavel with your vote. He's just too extreme.
Get $1,500 purchase allowance on a 2023 Cadillac XT5 and XT6. Visit your local Cadillac dealer today.
It's a brand new day.
Don't let junk get in the way.
All you have to do is point.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
Yeah!
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Channel 3000 Plus. Watch from your streaming media player or mobile device.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Finally tonight, new drone footage released by the Spanish Civil Guard shows one of the largest whale species in the world. The gigantic whale, weighing about 40 tons and measuring 55 feet long, was seen with a rare deformation, severe scoliosis, according to experts, off the Spanish coast in the Mediterranean Sea. Well, studies have revealed traumatic events such as a collision with a ship are usually the cause of abnormalities in whales.
When I first saw
a
the
downer.
video, I actually thought that maybe he was just like swimming, and like that was until you started reading the script. Wow.
Well, watch out for those whales, folks. Like, watch out for the deer.
Yes.
We care about the animals.
We do. I know. I know you were trying to find a way to.
Yeah, it's fine.
Swim out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So, the weather. We are having an alert day for our Saturday, folks. We are already starting to see some developments of snowfall through some parts of southern Wisconsin. We're expecting our Saturday morning to be the big event. Once we're into the afternoon, things will improve, but expect a chilly next few days. Holding into the 40s, we could see some improvements in terms of temperatures, but a thunderstorm is possible in our forecast once we get into our Friday. But at least we're dealing with rain and not snow this time.
That's
hopefully
good news. Glass half full.
Yes, that's what we have here. We are always positive.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone, for staying up late with us. Have a great night.